To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a moment of silence here for our country and your sitting on council. Amen.
Amen.
It's Tuesday evening, April 18th. Almost completed another month. It's 5:30 in the evening. We're in the Municipal Center. Now the roll call, please.
Tom Murphy,
Present.
Rick Weber.
Here.
Greg Cooney is absent. Rose Jackson. Here. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Chris Chapman.
Here.
And Susan Webster is here. Okay, we do have a quorum.
Let's review the minutes from the last council meeting of Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. I'll take any additions and corrections and a common consent. So everything looked good to me. Everything good with everybody?
Yeah. Look all right. You got a lot of them.
Okay, common consent, guys?
Yes.
All right, good enough. Okay, we got a few people here this evening before council. Larry?
Thank you. So for the council, you should have a letter in front of you from Father Mikey from the church. So I'm representing the church on this one. And then on the agenda for this, it talks about two things. It talks about Liberty Street. I'd like to start with the fire lane on Bath, which is also on the agenda. What we're asking for is from Mercer Street along Bath, which is the road right next to the church, the north side, and that separates us from the parking lot used by the courthouse. We noticed this, we've been talking about this a long time from the safety perspective, but especially on Sundays when we have the farmer's market. People park on both the church side of that, and then you have the other parking lot that's really full. In the church is still active at that point. We have a lot of older parishioners we have evacuated. We got to call EMS before, and that is their primary route to get in and out. Because if you go to the other side, they have to do that weird little turn, and if they bring any heavy trucks, it's kind of an awkward one, especially when it's full. So we'd like to request that the town get with the public safety sides and consider turning that into a fire lane from Mercer Street down to just about where the bank starts. That's where it's most congested in there, and to look at that as a public safety thing that we need. And then if you're not there, routinely, mass goes every day. So we always have a time during the day for weekday mass. We just got done with Holy Week. So, and this is the season, we get tons of visitors in the summer. I would say this last Sunday, probably 25% of the congregation was visitors. So we've got a lot bigger crowds coming. And we'd like to make sure we're taking the precautions for the Bath Street for that fire lane to be able to get that in there.
What you're requesting is this be referred to the public safety
Correct.
committee.
Yeah.
And you're asking for from Mercer Street to the beginning of the bank parking lot.
Not down to 522. but
Not down to 522, but
Just right there.
there's a garage right there.
Where the road is, where they go into the windows.
Correct, where the church stops, and then there's a gate right there, and then we have our office. We think that's probably appropriate. Now, as you bring the experts in, if they say, okay, well, maybe we need to go farther, that's up to you guys. But we're really, I'm concerned about being able to evacuate parishioners and have it being able to bring EMS in there for that.
Just a suggestion.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
I thought, have you thought about putting cones along there on Sunday mornings when it's gonna, you're gonna have to along that street, and that would have to be something that the town would
Right.
do too. But it's
I think let's refer to public safety, let the chief look at it. Maybe we get with the fire department and have them look at it and see what we need to do to get that.
Mr. Mayor, I've already had a conversation with the fire chief, and he is for that. He is for
Okay.
fire lane.
Well, we kind of need to get with them and sit down and talk and see what we need to do to design something there that'll work for those times and everything. So let's refer that to the public.
On
safety.
Sundays now, what is happening with that part of Bath Street?
So,
Down to from
So
Mercer
from-
down to the bank, what's happening?
so from Mercer all the way down to 522 on the side of the church, completely full.
Parking.
And we have, the grilled cheese guy. He's at the 522 side, and it's cars all the way up. And then what happens as people get there later, that chunk of the parking it gets pretty unorganized. People, oh, I can fit there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it just keeps getting
Right.
necked down. And I'm usually standing outside the church and I can see people just look for an opportunity and they park. And so, a lot of times I'll walk out and say, excuse me, can you move your car? Because you're preventing access. But, yeah, it's jam packed on Sundays. And which is great. It means people are coming to town,
Right.
but I just want to make sure we can take the
Does
precautions.
the farmer's market have a whole parking lot on Sundays or just half of it?
So the church does own a chunk of it. So, and I guess the good news is our mass starts at 9:00. So when our parishioners show up between 8:30 and 8:45, the farmer's market isn't open yet, except for the vendors. So the vendors come in, they've got their trucks, they've unloaded everything. They usually park in that area. And then our parishioners kind of fill it in. So then when people come to buy stuff at the farmer's market at about 10, that's when they're filling in all the pieces and it gets real, it's almost a good, nice agreement prior to that. But then after 10, it turns into kind of a mess. And that's going to last for several hours. So that's again, my concern is those morning times. And I don't want to just Sunday morning is by far the biggest, but we've got Saturday mass and those weekday masses too. And I just wouldn't want, if we did have an incident that EMS
We can get in there. Absolutely.
Couldn't they just make like that side by the church, that whole lane and no parking area?
Well, I don't know if you really want to do that because they got a lot of older folk, that park there along the side. You're talking
I worked in-
along the side there.
You're an older
To get
person.
in and out. I didn't say that.
Yeah, on the back
So-
side, like I said, we've looked at it internally from the safety and security side. We do have parking on the other side, which is the next topic, that we do have handicap spots that we use over there. And so it's not, if you go from the Bath Street side, it's not that far of a walk if somebody's over.
Right.
And we do a pretty good job of escorting those folks that need help coming in. So we do see that, in the benefit for those few that need to park there versus what if things bad happen.
Right.
We want to make sure EMS can get in and out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Let's refer that one on for investigation.
Yeah, also, our connection to our sprinkler system is on Bath Street side.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not
Understand.
just a parking thing. It's-
Right.
Right, I agree.
I understand. Yeah. Believe me, if you get a fire truck in there, get hooked up to sprinkler system, you're done.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, right.
yeah. Okay. We'll
Now-
refer that to public
So you're
safety
looking
and
at Liberty.
Okay.
chief and everything. So,
Okay, so the next point is what is, and it's addressed in the letter, is the fire, the notifying the town that the church is going to begin the process to try to get the town to give up the current Liberty Street. And we reviewed the process with it, we understand it, but when we brought this up to the diocese in Charleston, don't do anything until you notify the town. Don't spend any money and don't put a lot of time in it, because if there's a red line right now that the town will never give it up, then we don't want to waste the time and money down the line. Okay. So, and I've obviously been here and seen some of the transitions from the town giving up lanes and things like that to the members that own it around and the property line adjustments. But the diocese was very clear. They just don't want the surveying and the assessing and all that to go on and the church to invest money if there is anything that would prevent the town, if we go through that whole process, from conducting that transition. We know we have to get with CNB Bank because they're the other neighbor on that. And then of course the assessment, the survey, and going through that whole process to do it. A couple of reasons. The primary reason for us trying to get it, or one of the two big reasons, is we're the only ones who maintain it. We plow it, we do the landscaping, we do all the work on it. In my position, I look at it, I said, this is never going to be a through road again. Okay, again, that may be a different perspective. I look at it from where I'm standing on the church, and that it would, if we own it, then we're going to go ahead and get it repainted. The stripes need restriping and all that. We'll go ahead and start doing that. The other element for us is from, again, a safety and security side, not necessarily the EMS vehicles, but as it's currently laid out. We have, as a Catholic church, we have general threats against our parishioners, And here in the town of Bath, we've had specific intimidation and threats against our parishioners. And so because of where the sidewalk is and that is public land, I can be standing on the steps of the church and somebody can be standing right there. So in working with FEMA and the FBI training they did, said the first thing you need to do is get a buffer. That was their recommendation, is try to build a buffer around so that you can legally prevent people from being in a, in your,
So you're
on your
looking
front
at
porch.
putting up a fence?
Don't know
gate,
yet.
or-
Don't know yet. Right now, it'd just be the legal authority to say, stay off of our property, right? So you get them out of throwing distance, whatever the case is. But we've looked at it, at some point, maybe we do have gates or whatever, but we aren't that, that far into it. But as I said, in working with the state FEMA guys, they're like, yeah, buffers are the number one thing that churches need to do. And that was what got us to this proposal that you have in front of you, was to try to do that. But then again, when I'm talking to the office manager, the church has been the ones who really has maintained Bath Street, or excuse me, Liberty Street since anyone can remember.
Right.
Well, first thought that I have is when we did these before, with these were all right-of-ways that had multiple properties involved. This is an actual street. That's kind of a different thing than just a right-of-way little lane that's a nothing. So I just don't know.
Right, no, exactly.
Right.
And we understand this one's like, right in the middle of town. There's different, there's more people that would weigh in compared to a lane up on the hill. Right? It always affects other folks besides. That's why we wanted to bring it up first before we started the whole assessment and survey and start.
My whole thing is, I've been down and looked at it since you
Yeah.
I
sent
did
us
as
the
well.
letter. Number one, we have a second area of egress coming out of Citizens Parking Lot.
Mhm.
That was done to alleviate traffic trying to come onto Washington Street off that one section. So,
I was gonna ask that, what
Yeah.
that little
that
gap
little
was.
gap is to come out there so that you can be up, a little farther, number one. Number two, if in the future you're thinking about fencing or gating that off, I don't really feel that I'm very comfortable with that, number one. There are parking spaces there. We hurt for parking spaces out as it is right now. They're free parking spaces because we don't have enough meters there. Plus, we have handicap parking there. There's a handicap spot right there at the end.
Yeah.
We got slammed a couple years ago because we didn't have enough handicapped access to handicapped people in the community. And so for my looking at this, I don't mind abandoning the hill area because it's never going to become, that's my only thought. I don't mind abandoning that, because I know you guys mow it and take care of it most of the time. But as far as the roadway, there's parking spaces there. I mean, you guys use it. We've never had a problem. If you get somebody coming in an unsafe manner, you can hold the police department and we'll have the chief look at it and see what we can do to make it maybe a little, to help you guys. I understand what you're trying to do, but I don't feel comfortable at some time you shutting that off if we give it to you, and we've only got one way to get out of that parking lot, if you know what I'm saying.
CNB bank.
Yeah, the CFB bank. I don't feel comfortable, plus I don't feel comfortable losing that handicap spot there. Like I said, that all is probably gonna be metered, again, when we took everything up because we didn't have enough meters. We're working on that now. So that's my whole theory in this thing is, that's what I was worried about, possibly shutting that off and gating it so people can't get in there, during certain times, or if you're having something, you got people parking in there, shutting them off so that, you can have the security. But I just don't feel good about maybe sometime along the line that being shut off from citizens, because that's the way I come out every time I come out from the windows. I don't try to come out on Washington because it's too much trying to go, but you've got to follow the distance coming out of it. So, but that's my feeling. The council's the one that has the vote.
The other question I would have is, all these other ones that we've done, the right-of-ways, have been little remote places. They're not on the main drag of town. And what is it gonna cost? I mean, if you're looking at a true market value to buy that little.
Yeah, the assessment piece.
And I don't know, I don't have a clue.
Well, two things. One is, I really don't think that the church is looking to gate it off. We just want to have some legal standing ground as to, I mean, if someone were to come here, we have legal standing ground. And to the next part of Liberty Street was abandoned years ago. And I think, I don't know if it was given to then Bill Hunter and the funeral home, but that is part of Bath Street, Liberty Street.
Right.
So there has been instances where the street has been abandoned, and parts of Bath Street up the hill have been abandoned.
Right, they have been abandoned, but that street has never been abandoned,
Yeah.
where it's paved at.
Yeah. Like, so we just want to have a little bit of legal. It's like it'd be like the 7-Eleven parking lot. We're not going to restrict anybody from being there, but if someone comes in with ill intent, we want to have something we can say, leave.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What about a conditional lease? That way the town doesn't give up the asset, but then if you have a conditional lease, would that protect with the buffer zones?
I don't think, yeah,
I don't know if you do it or
yeah,
not, but.
you can't do that.
When I first came for the council, that little piece of land where I have that building. No, I forgot what I was gonna say with that. Oh, I asked that first right off the bat about leasing, selling, letting me use it. And when you guys looked into that, the
Right.
leasing thing,
We
we
weren't
were
able
told
to
by
do it.
Charleston that you could not lease it.
It's a public
And you couldn't
street,
just
it's
let me
owned
use
by,
it liability wise.
yeah,
So it
it's
had to be a
owned by
direct
the
conveyance.
citizens of the community, so, I mean, I've spoke my piece, I mean, we
I
can,
would say, I haven't had a chance to really go up there and look and see what you're saying. I mean, obviously I'm familiar with the area like everybody else is, but I'm not, I'm not ready to say, sure, go ahead and start your process, or no, I don't want you to. So, I don't know.
we want to table this to
So
next
I-
meeting.
that's
I
what
would
I'm
say
saying.
the first step should be you talking to everybody that abuts either one of
And it's
those
just
roads.
CNB is the only
C
legal.
and B, and then the other one, you're not going down as far as where the other bank is on the corner.
No,
No,
You're not going there.
Nope.
Make sure that we had to get something in writing saying that those people that abut that property have no problems with the town conveying that to
Okay.
the church. And once you have that, if there's nothing like that, then you could bring it back to us and see, because then it would give us time to, anybody who
review.
hasn't been there, to look at both the
Yeah.
Bath Street and Liberty Street sides and kind of figure out what Scott's saying about the gap between the bank and the church.
yeah, I think we're gonna table this for next meeting, we'll have not only the council people look at it, but I'll let the chief look at it and the public safety, and we'll go from there.
and no, great way to go forward. I think this is good, and we'll engage with CNB, and get that.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Not a problem. Thank you, Larry. Okay, you are up.
Do I have to stand up or can I do
No, this is your day. Go for
Okay,
it.
so I'm Regina Gorsuch. Some of you know me as Regina Amaka because of being a musician. Amaka is my stage name. I just want to clear that up so there's no confusion.
And that's why you like the shirt.
Yes,
I got
I've been a musician my whole life. But anyway, Susan knows. But, so I have an RV and, I go to a lot of places and a lot of towns that I would want to go to and stop in, but I can't find a place to park. And I'm proposing or asking you guys to look at the possibility of making RV parking accessible in the big lot that's behind the depot. Maybe it could be a daytime, just a daytime. Maybe they could park there, maybe they could make a donation. You could have like a lot of campgrounds and stuff, they'll have a little thing where they put in their $5 or whatever, and that could go towards the depot or towards the town. But it would give people with RVs a place to park, to come shopping. I'll tell you right now, we spend a lot of money because we save a lot of money because we don't pay for hotels.
Absolutely.
And I spend money, in fact, last time we went on a trip, I got this really nice shirt because I was able to find a place to park my RV. And most of the people that are in the RVs these days, just in case, I don't know who knows or who doesn't know, they're mostly boomers. We're mostly out, doing our thing and
Yeah.
shopping and enjoying things, getting away from the kids and all that stuff. I'm not suggesting that you put in like any kind of facilities or anything like that, just people can park there. I get upset when, as a business owner, somebody parks their RV on Fairfax Street, even though I know that you guys do allow that, as long as they pay for the meters. I also think it takes up a lot of space if they go into behind the bank and they take up a bunch of places there. You know, so it would be good to have a designated place, and if people have an RV, they can go and park it.
I think, I'm in favor of this, because I think particularly with the bypass, we're all watching that, move along happily. Anything that we can do to attract people, because this is something that could even be, there could be signage on either end of town, RV parking in town, and they would stop. I mean, we see hundreds of them go through town all the time, But just day parking, not overnight, we realize, and that's a whole different animal, but then they could walk around, you see with lights on the back with cars in tow, and like that, and I don't think it takes too much really, we would be doing nothing, but maybe setting up a donation,
You would need a sign, and you would need probably some, information of what they're supposed to do, I think that it could be, I don't mind paying, I don't know what a fair price would be, but, I think it would be really good. And as far as RVers, what we're doing is, we go to this little RV park, okay, and we get in and we go in and we look and we say, where's the little towns around us? And we zoom in and we say, oh, I want to go to that town, and then we try to go there, and then if we can't find a place to park, we don't stop and eat, we don't shop. Yeah.
And this is something too, I think, that, okay, the project starts on the, the rail trailhead and that whole lot. Okay, we don't do it anymore. We don't do it till it's done. It's not something that we put money in and then we're having to abandon that money because we can't use it anymore because there's, work being done in that area. Because someday, we do have big plans, but that's
Right.
probably a couple of years.
I think what we could do is we'll send this over to, again, public safety to let the chief look at it, and we'll go ahead and visit this next meeting. And,
One more thing, there's no liability, and my insurance
right,
covers
with
me.
absolutely.
You don't have,
Yes.
not the insurance doesn't
It
fall.
would just have to be, we would have to designate it, no overnight parking, because, I don't mind letting RVers, but I know myself, I'm the same way. You can't find a place to park, you just go on through to wherever you can find,
Well, I'd just be worried about people staying there all night.
Right, I
and
would too. And-
Dumping trash.
Well, not,
And
most
dumping
of-
sewage.
most of your
in the
RVers
area.
are pretty good, there's just a few of them out there, but one bad apple makes it bad for everybody.
Right.
But I think it would be a good idea because, for now, and like I said, when we get to the point where we start working on that lot to go to our full-blown thing, then we can do that, and we can look about putting some RV spaces in along with that once everything is going, so,
You could also number they could number the space and say, okay, then they fill it out, and they could actually give you their information and
Right.
their donation, and they're taking space A17
Right.
or whatever. And I've been, for the last year, I've been at least every 2 weeks out somewhere in my RV, and for the entire January, February, March, those different parts, never seen anybody dump sewage
yeah.
or do anything inappropriate, because we're talking, these are boomers. That's who's driving these RVs. That's who's in these RVs now. It's not like it was before.
Yeah,
It's not like it was
most
back in the
people
day.
that I've run into in the campgrounds that were very conscientious. They'll go to the sewage dumping stations, most parks, and this is gonna be a day, so most of the time, 9/10 out of 10, they've already dumped those tanks when they left where they were the night, that
Mhm.
morning or whatever, because that's what I do with mine.
Mhm.
I always dump the next day. Yeah, so, I think it'd be a good idea because we do have a lot of people that come through town with an RV, and if we advertised, hey, we have spaces, blah, 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 we might get a few people that are willing to come into town, So let's put this to public safety, let the chief look at it, see if, that everything looks good down
And
there.
really think through if we want like a donation and they could fill out their information,
Right.
where are you gonna put that? Because if you just have like a drop box, I could see some of the people that frequent the park over here heading down there and like, again, drop box wouldn't be a good idea.
Right, we have to figure out something.
I was, that's,
Yeah,
With the door locked.
yeah.
Guys, I also want to remind you, we don't meet till next month for
Right.
public safety, so
Well,
that's gonna
then
be.
we'll bring it up. Like I said, we'll look at it.
Okay,
Give us a month and we'll take a look at it. We'll revisit it. So
okay,
just make sure we get that put on the calendar
Sure.
for after y'all's next meeting. Okay, all right. Well, we're moving on. That's all we had signed up to talk before council until the end of the meeting. So communications from mayor. Just want to let you know that I stopped by a citizen here in the community about a month ago about the flag down at the depot. It was looking pretty rough. I had said to say, a matter of fact, I had just gone by there that morning before I stopped and they talked to me about it. So we took it down and went to the American Legion, took the flag to American Legion. And so now the American Legion, or the VFW, I'm sorry, VFW has donated a flag to us from the VFW. Commander Art Scher, I guess. Is that how you say that last?
It's the American Legion.
Yeah, and maybe with the VFW, I don't know. But anyway, we got a donation for a new flag. If you go down by the train depot, there's a new American flag flying, and it looks like it's really good. I just said something to Sharon about I'd like to also get a West Virginia flag to put underneath of it. I think that's appropriate, so we're going to look into that. So anyway, thanks to the either the VFW or the American Legion, whichever one. So it's
Scott, is it an all-weather flag, so it doesn't need to be taken down and put up every day?
I
Or does
would
it need-
assume-
it's got a light on it.
yeah, it's got a
So
light.
it's still a flag.
Yeah, we put a light on it a couple years ago because we got a bunch of trouble. So, all right, make it shine. How'd everything go?
Well, unfortunately, it rained on Saturday. There were a few hardy adults that came out and did some picking up in some areas of town, but the children did not show up for Greenway Cemetery, and frankly, our contractor complained about it. Like they said, we usually come back to clean graves. It's a mess down here. Where were all your kids? So unfortunately, they were not able to work in the rain. But actually, I found it in a way very encouraging that there was a genuine notice, our contractor genuinely noticed the difference between when the young people come and work in the cemetery to make it shine and when they don't. So, so that it kind of gives us an incentive to really work next year to try and recruit a big group of children and adults to work throughout the town and the cemetery. So, but unfortunately, it just, I think this is the first year it rained on both
Yep.
the original date and the rain day.
The thing about it is it cleared up in a couple hours.
Yes,
It's
it
like
did.
it got warm.
Right.
So
Sunny
anyway,
and hot.
well,
Yeah.
at least we had a few people out. So
Yes.
hopefully we'll
Every
keep it
little bit
rolling.
helps.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, and then the other thing I got under here is we'll go ahead and need to lay the levy so we can get that taken care of. So in your package, you should have the levy information.
There it is.
Yep. So
We didn't raise any of the rates this year, and this has been common now for many years with
Yeah.
the town council. The rates are exactly the same. What we expect for a class 2, and that is owner occupied residential, is $13,467.82 as the valuation, not what we're bringing in. That is the valuation. Yeah, and the class 4 valuation the taxes levied will be $118,895. The expected delinquencies will be $10,134. The tax discounts, this is where, people pay early, so they get a 2% discount. We expect to be $3,851. What we do expect to bring into the town of Bath this fiscal year in property tax is $184,926. So I would like to make a motion that we lay the tax levy for the town of Bath as presented.
Okay, a motion is second on the floor to lay the levy for the town of Bath. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion carries. So we have taken care of that. Get that into where it needs to go. All right, let's move on. Bath Development. Don't act like you're sleeping. Don't act like you're
I'm
sleeping. All
tired. Don't click on me.
right, you got the floor.
I'm still standing on it. All right, what have we been up to? Just reporting in, we have the selfie project that is going on. A scavenger hunt they're planning. That's Bill Clark's idea. I think Chris is also in on that. We have an ambassador event they're working on. We're also trying to bring in the USDA and the SBDC for some business sessions partnering with the MCEDA and the VDA. The RFP for the website, that's been developed, and Bill's sending that out to a couple web designers and for pricing some proposals, because as you know, we all tried to do it the old-fashioned way, and, COVID happened, it didn't end, none of us had time. So we tried to do it ourselves, we're now reaching out to get some professional help, because, time is a four-letter word. Besides that, we are working on things. And I know Susan's working on, not sure, we're not calling it Discover Your Hometown, I think, are we? Or
It's just the grand opening for the depot. And so we're looking at, this summer, late spring, to bring that about.
and you're the banjo player too, right?
Daryl, oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that part, 'cause I like that.
I understand that. So I don't have a date yet, but, we'll let you know that as soon as it's done.
All right, and I got that email, but is there anything else for me?
Anything else? We do have an application here that was turned in for the Bath Development Authority, another person to come on. And it's Greg Sheen. He lives down here at 167 Wilk Street. If you can read in your packets in the bottom of what he kind of has been into during his lifetime. So the council decide whether or not you want to bring another person on to the BDA.
I was not at the last meeting, and I don't know if this was presented to the meeting.
Yeah.
No, I think
He
he
was
was
at the meeting.
He was at the last PDA, yes, he was, yeah.
So I don't know if you guys had discussed it, because I did miss it, sorry.
Well, we always ask people to join, it's,
I mean, I personally, I'm good with it, but I wasn't there.
just yesterday, right? Or what can we do? Can we make a decision on it?
I don't see why not. It's on one of
Things
our
okay?
volunteer committees.
Okay,
I mean,
all
it's,
right.
yeah, so,
I personally think it would be wonderful.
He's got, I mean, I know him somewhat, he's got energy, a positive attitude. I haven't seen anything that I wouldn't, want to work with.
Right. Yeah, I make a motion that we accept Greg Sheen's volunteer application to be a member of Bath Development Authority.
okay, I have a motion, second on the floor to bring Greg Sheen on to the Bath Development Authority. Do we have any more conversation? Comments? Anything? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So you have a new Bath development guy.
Good, because we have elections or whatever we're calling, or new board members or whatever we're calling. So you need to talk, some of these people into it.
All right,
It's been
anything?
great. If you don't need more, you know where I'm heading back to.
Yeah.
See you later.
It was good to see y'all.
Get it done. Keep me out of jail.
Be nice to me, I might.
Okay, let's move on. Parks and Recs. We don't have anybody here this evening to represent them. Planning Commission.
All right, putting on my planning commission hat. We've been focusing on public safety. So we had, our new chief was our guest, and he was the speaker at our last monthly meeting. So that worked out good. And then we've been doing follow-up public safety stuff to, again, identify those elements that need to be reflected within the comprehensive plan. Real good start. We learned a lot, and hopefully passed a little bit of our research on to a new chief coming in too. So again, very productive meeting, and we'll continue to again, we'll spend a good chunk of time on as we do these. So I appreciate all the folks that are on the board and committee members for us jumping in and trying to learn as much as we can as we try to identify some of those long-term goals for the town. And our next meeting, as scheduled, it will be on May 4th.
Okay. Any questions for Larry?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say that I sat in on that planning commission meeting with the chief, and he had some great ideas for the department. So we're looking forward to him working with the town.
Good deal. Thank you, Larry. Okay, let's move on to Rails and Trails. And, we've got in our packet what Pete has sent to us. Not only the Rails and Trails, but we have the streetscapes and the Berkeley Springs State Park grant is there. So, you can look at that and see where they're at this point. So, anyway, we've taken care of all those. So we're going to the train depot.
What has happened since the last meeting is, the architect, the owner of the Mills Group, was at the depot and did a walkthrough. This is Michael Mills, who's the owner of the Mills Group, did a walkthrough. And it was actually just today that I got the punch list, and the contractor got the punch list on things to be done, and just, you just walk through and made a list of little things. There's always a punch list, and there's a fair amount of little painting here and painting there. I do have to say that the Lance Construction has done a great job and been very cooperative, and I'm sure that they will handle everything on the punch list. Today and tomorrow, the floors are being sanded and finished, so that should be done, by Wednesday. I don't know if it's, to the point that it could be walked on or anything like that, but it takes a while to do that correctly. Shenandoah Flooring gave us a fantastic price because they want to be a part of the project like a lot of people do. And so gave us a very good price on that, so we moved forward. Still planning a red ribbon cutting, grand opening type celebration. Today I went to an event seminar and got a lot of ideas, but also a lot of offers for help, serious help. Chamber of Commerce and those folks, are excited about being involved in some way, promotion or something. And it will be, if we want it to be successful. Regina and I have met a few times on this. It's a big deal to put on a successful event. So we're working at it. We don't have a date set yet, but
But it's gonna be fun.
it's going to be fun. So build that excitement. So
There you go. Just keep it building until the time comes.
Well, it's been long enough.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So, okay.
Okay, Landmark Commission, he isn't here this evening, so I guess there's not too much. Their next meeting looks like it's going to be the 20th. So anyway, we'll move on then. Clerks and recorders report, Madam Clerk.
In your package, you have a budget revision. It's not one that needs to go to the state because it's just internally moving money between accounts within the budget, so I just need council to approve that for me, please.
The finance committee did look at, and we did sit and discuss these changes. It is all within departments, and some things have changed in the past year, and so it's just movement within the departments. It's nothing that, you know, because she said that we have to go out to the auditor's office on it.
So,
Do we need a motion or anything to?
yeah,
I just need it recorded in the minutes and that you guys approve on them.
yeah, let's do a
We'll
motion.
that.
So moved.
I'll second your son move.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor for the budget revisions that are being done from within our budget area that we're changing numbers. So anyway, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. All right.
You want to do the election candidates?
Yes, indeed. You did put that in here, didn't you?
Election day is,
Election day is June 13th. Today is the last day for any writing candidates, and we already have anyone that's signed up to run for the election.
So what you see in front of you is draft election workers. This is kind of a time-consuming thing to put together. Sharon and I work on it. But, these are people who have stepped up and volunteered to serve in whatever capacity needed. There may be a couple that, as it turns out, maybe an alternate will be on the counting board, and a counting board person will be, you know, an alternate. And if you notice, there is a counting board this year. You know, we really owe a lot to our election day poll workers, and they're here at 5:45 in the morning, they're here till 7:30 in the evening. It's a long day, so we thought, let's try this year to put together a counting board who will come in at 7:30 and take on the counting obligations. So those people who have already been here close to 12 hours can go home, because it's just a long day. So we do have, if you see, a separate counting board. And I was lucky to be able to fill all the slots. The state requires 5 people for that, and we do have 5 people. I can read the names if you want me to read the names, but I don't know if you have any questions on any of the people. If you want me to read the names out, I
Council.
can.
Sure, so the public knows.
Okay. Ballot commissioners, Betty Kelly and Joyce Jones. The early voting workers will be Sharon Curry, Carletta Kearns, Candy Morris, Betty Kelly, William Carper, and J.C. Gloria Jean Cooper. The election day poll workers, Carletta Kearns, Candy Morris, Kevin Kelman, Joyce Jones. The counting board, Margie Kelman, Priscilla Jones, Steve Keith, Lucy Crosby, and Jane Hutchinson. The alternates, John Bohr and Kelly Bohr. Any questions, or anybody want to volunteer, or if you know of anybody who wants to volunteer?
I think you got her handled, hopefully.
Yeah, so, but I do need it to be approved, so that, and what will happen is all these people go through a training session, and they are appointed to these positions by Sharon.
Right.
So,
I need a motion.
I move that the slate of draft election workers for 2023 be approved as presented.
second.
Okay, I have a motion and second on the approving the draft election workers for the 2023 election. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Done. All right, let's move on to, you got anything else? Okay. Let's move on to pay some bills.
Okay, Town of Bath expenditures for this current period are $11,312.77. Make a motion to go ahead and pay those on behalf of the Town of Bath.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and
Thank you, sir.
second on, paying the town bath bills for the amount of $11,312.77. All those, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Okay, for this period, Berkeley Springs Waterworks, expenditures come to the amount of $57,992.23. Make a motion to go ahead and pay those on behalf of the water department.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterwork bills in the amount of $57,992.23. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Okay, and the last one for this time, for Greenway Cemetery, the annual business fee of $25. I'll make a motion to go ahead and pay that on behalf of the cemetery.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the cemetery bills in the amount of $25 even. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right. Let's move on to the tree board.
We have meet tomorrow.
Okay. Good deal. All right.
And tomorrow is the Arbor Day when they're planting the
That's
tree
right.
at the
Oh,
7-Eleven, and they were asking that you could read the proclamation at
Tomorrow
4
morning.
o'clock.
About midday or so.
That's
just
right, we were
text
doing
me.
that in place of our meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon.
No problem.
Just text me so I remember, because I'm gonna be out hanging
And I'm
off.
sure everybody read Andy's response to that question about planting trees with the sidewalks and all that. I think he did a very good job of responding to that. Didn't say too much, but made it clear where his stance was.
Okay, good deal. All right. And of course, tomorrow, we're gonna have a tree planting down here at 7-Eleven for Arbor Day. It's at 4 PM, if anybody wants to come out. Okay, Grant, do you have anything, Beth? Okay, great. Yeah, okay. Public safety.
The two new police officers, Ron Gardner and Chuck Hess, were sworn in Monday night. And they have already started and will be making their presence known in town, getting out there, writing tickets, and making sure everything goes as planned. And they're really excited about joining the Berkeley Springs Police Department. We are still taking applications for the administrative assistant up there until the 27th of April. And then after that, we will read them and choose who we are going to.
And I
Chief,
said this
what else
upstairs
you have?
during public safety, and the job that Mr. Capper is doing for us at this point is so professional in nature that I think we need to hear this too. It's really what you've done in 6 weeks.
Absolutely.
It's not gone unnoticed.
Absolutely. I have talked with them. I talk to them almost daily sometimes. And I told them, I said, we've never had the response we've had with getting certified police officers to actually come to the town of Bath and Berkeley Springs to, help us out and try to get our police department. And within 3 to 4 weeks, our new chief had 2 that actually came to him. So, he's done an excellent job. He's gotten the vehicles back up and running. He's got the car, the old car that he's got it running again, and it's going to be here hopefully sold soon at an auction. Hopefully, if things work out. I tell you, I'm just amazed at how well he came in here, have had nothing, couldn't help him because I didn't know, and he stepped right up to the plate and dove in with both feet. And thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Well,
I tell you, it's simply amazing. I know that you're here, and when you're here, you're taking care of what needs to be done. So, thank you. Okay.
Does the chief have anything he wants to
Yeah,
add?
do you have anything that you need to relay to us?
I do not. I just wanted to thank everyone for the condolences there. It means a lot to me. And, we're getting better day by day. excited about it. And I see the same excitement in the two new hires that we just brought on.
Yeah, they were excited. I swore them in the last week and they said, hey, we're ready to roll. So, hopefully this summer will be a good summer for us that we, we're out in presence, being able to walk, talk, and, so.
And our next meeting is May 16th at 4:45.
Good deal. All right, cemetery.
The mowing season starts today. I told you our contractor's response to get Shine now happening in Greenway Cemetery. So we're gonna see if Rodney can help them out. So we'll be talking to him tomorrow about that. And otherwise, it's the season starting and things are going well. Our bid for the mausoleum is done. We're just waiting on the county commissioners to give us the $30,000 they promised. And as soon as that is in the bank, we will get our bids out to the appropriate channels, and hopefully that work will be done easily by the end of the summer. So that will be a very good thing.
Yes, big relief. So, okay. Is that it?
I do want to let Scott and Chris know that I'm going to be out of town next week, so I will not be able to have a regular scheduled meeting, but I will contact you for the next meeting date.
Sounds good. All right, Beth, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Public Works?
Sharon got me good with this, putting this in the packet. I always go through these before the meeting, so I try and have an idea of what we're doing. When I get this paper, I'm looking at spark arresters and breakers and pieces. I have no clue. Now I know. Last Tuesday, all of our public works gang went to a seminar on chainsaw training. They all came back with all their fingers and thumbs and all and passed the course, so it's all good. You got me with this. A couple of things that I want to bring up that I've been involved with, and I know that Steve and Lucy are going to talk. They live on Congress Street, and they signed up to talk. I stopped by my way to this meeting. There is, in fact, a manhole cover right by your house. On tomorrow, just have Rodney go down and chisel out some of the pavement so that it will be real easy to get that manhole cover off. And then it's in the hands of the sewer department. And after you guys, I know you're going to talk, we'll kind of show you what you got to do. But I just wanted to let you know, but I did stop and look, and I mean, it's right there by your house, and it's not rocket science.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I took a picture of it yesterday after I found out. I went down and took a picture of it. And it just needs just a little bit around that and they can lift it.
So have Rodney do the pavement part, and then it's on the sewer
Okay,
department.
you want to call him in the morning and just let him know?
Sharon will
I'll
let
take
him
care
know.
of
You
it.
Go ahead and do that part and get it.
Okay.
I mean, if I can stand there and look at it and come up with that, I could get some tools from home and get
Right.
that lid off. It's not rocket science,
Yeah.
believe me. It's just people.
I got a question. Is it up to us to deal with the Warm Springs PSD?
Yes.
At this point, yeah, because they're not an entity with us at all, but they come under the county commissioners, I believe.
There's a board of directors appointed by the county commissioners.
Yes, I'm learning this, but my question is what's our next step? Who do we call? Because we are currently suffering with a sewer problem, and you can imagine what that's like.
Backing up into your house.
So I kind of want to be as efficient about this as possible. Who do I call? What do I do?
Okay.
No, if they won't respond to you and won't, my next step would be going to county commissioners at the courthouse.
I'd say tomorrow,
Go to the
go to
office.
the
Yeah.
public service district, right?
Well, if they're not responding to you, the Public Service Commission in Charleston is.
Okay, I'm going to talk about this in my
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, we'll get to you here just a few
Okay,
minutes. Give us a couple
yeah.
seconds here. Try
Trying
to
that
take-
public works we're good.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Ordinance,
The next meeting is tentatively set for Tuesday, May 2nd at 4:30. I don't, unless something comes up, I think Dick Gay's still looking at the personnel manual.
Okay.
And the tree board, or Kate Lehman anyways, is still
Looking
looking
at
at
the
their
others.
ordinance and our comments on it. So
We'll see
We'll
how.
see. We'll let you know, but it's tentatively set for that May 2nd.
All right. Waterworks.
Yeah, and the same thing, well, for the waterworks, our next meeting is Monday, May 1st. We will.
Good deal. All right. All right, we've come to the point of the meeting here where people have signed up to talk with us. So I don't know who's first on that list, but you guys want to go ahead
Okay.
down there on the sewer problem, let's go ahead and
Okay,
see if we can help you guys out or do something.
I would really appreciate that, and Sharon has already helped us out, because what do we know? We've got a sewer problem, and then you call Roto-Rooter and you call the Warm Springs, and everybody came out more than once, maybe 2-3 times, and scratched their heads, and they finally did the right thing. Roto-Rooter, of course, we're having to pay Roto-Rooter quite a bit of money to get all this done. But anyway, they cited a problem where the sewer line that is blocked they found the point at which it was blocked, which is about halfway down our driveway, and yet they could not determine where the block ended, so we would know how to dig out, how much pipe to dig out and replace. Okay, so then the question came up: how do you access the other side, and then run a snake through to find where that block is from the other side, because we know where it is from the inside. Now we need to know it from the street side. So that raised the question about manholes and all this stuff. What do I know about that? Absolutely nothing. But I'm learning. And so apparently need a manhole access, and the Warm Springs was scratching their head. They could have said, well, there's a manhole, we can do it from there. They did not. So and in fact, it was sort of declared to us that manholes that should have been there have been paved over. So we went down that rabbit hole, and that's what Sharon straightened out today and found the blueprint. And now we know exactly that there are only 2 manholes, but good news is we're not that far from one that's,
You are not.
the one you saw. That comes as great news.
Yes.
Now, what I don't think is good news is what I'm talking about with what the position we're in. And I want y'all to listen to this. Put yourself in this position. And everybody is happy to give us suggestions as to who to call and what committee to appear before and everything. But this is all on us. We're citizens of this town. We need help. We need help with this, not suggestions. We got a sewer problem. That's a big problem.
Yes.
It's a problem you live with. So we don't need to be going through a process where, this person didn't call me back, or I need to call this person or appear before a committee, before the county commissioners at the next meeting. Meanwhile, we have no sewer. We have no shower. We're living like this.
Right.
And so what I'm putting in front of you is I think the town should consider what it's like when a couple of seniors like us who aren't even from here moved here to retire, and we need help because we don't know everybody.
Absolutely.
We don't know anybody. Before you told me, I wouldn't even know who to call.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I would ask if it's possible for some kind of thing to be created to help people like us, so that we're not on our own, so that somebody in the town does the call for us and says, look, we got a problem, we got to help these people.
Problem is, you're talking about 2 separate entities.
I understand, county and town.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And the PSD, we can't, we could give you a list of people to contact. The problem is, we have no authority with the PSD.
But y'all work with them. They're doing the service to the town.
Right. But
So what's the big deal? Why so isolated when you have to work with them
because
anyway?
They are a separate entity. They are governed basically by not only the PSD or the PSC, but they're governed by the county commissioners, which we don't have anything to do with the sewer other than when they open up or whatever and need to find a problem. It should have been, the PSD should have said, okay, we're gonna help you, we're gonna figure out what to do. We'll get this because it's involving our sewer. The problem is they wanna be quick and say that we paved over manholes and that the town's gonna be responsible.
Right.
Whereas I knew we didn't because I knew where the manholes was in that street and it is physically, basically opened other than just a little bit of blacktop around it. That could have been solved by them just coming in and just kind of etching around that and they could have pulled the manhole out.
Okay.
But they have come to me to tell me that we will pay to have sewer line extensions when the road is paved or repaved. And they don't like the fact that I told them that that is their job to take care of. We're not going to pay for extensions in the town of Bath. And we want to work with you. We work with you on water-related issues. So, but now that's why they're making a statement.
Well,
So, and I understand your point, and, if there's something that we can do,
Maybe you can go over to the office with them tomorrow and say, explain the problem. Tell them Rodney's taking care of it, and
we could do that. If you
I mean,
guys want-
that's what we need is
if you
help.
guys want
We
to,
don't need to be involved in,
you let me know what time and we'll go over to the sewer department. How about that? We'll go
that'd be
over
great.
And
We'll have Rodney do his thing with the
I
thing
I
first
will
thing in the
have
morning.
Rodney,
So they can
Yeah,
access
and
and Sharon will do that. I'll-
Sharon,
I'll
call
be
him
in.
first thing. We'll get that little bit around that manhole out.
All you need is a crowbar to.
Right. Hell, I could have done that.
And then, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And then
but
we'll go, to the-
Scott can tell them it's done.
we'll tell them it's done
Mhm.
and that it's on them to get the situation straightened out because, we don't deal in
Right.
sewer related issues.
I understand that.
Water related issue, I'd have my guys there right now working on it,
Right.
no matter what.
Right.
And that's 24/7. The
Yeah,
water guys will
that's
be out there fixing
24/7.
it if it was a water issue.
And
So-
that's a wonderful thing, but it isn't, in towns I've lived in, the town had both.
Yeah,
This is-
unfortunately, this is different.
So we're
Yeah.
caught in the jaws of an old situation where
Yeah.
there's two entities that don't necessarily see eye to eye on
Well, we
stuff.
did up
And-
to a point.
Yeah.
This is the first major squabble that we've had
Oh,
in,
This
lucky
is why
us.
I called them today and told them, we're paving this street after July 1. If you want those extensions put on those, do it now.
What he's talking about is risers.
yeah,
Right.
risers on
Yeah.
there. So that they're
Yeah, they
even with the
know, they know.
roadway.
I remember the
So-
potholes they created on
Abs-
522.
Absolutely. So,
And
um,
Yeah.
I would also like to say, the same thing that happened to you happened to my husband and me about 6 or 7 years ago. And I got on the phone, I called the plant and said, we got sewer, we got some sewer water in our basement and we don't know if it's our toilet, your problem. They were out at our house an hour later and they found that the waste was 6 inches from the top of the manholes. So they fully admitted it was their problem. They brought in a whole bunch of trucks and they cleaned it out within 2 days.
That's
So I don't understand why they're not being responsive to you.
I had the same issue last summer, same thing, it was a weekend, they came right out, this is just kind of a pissing contest.
well, they're saying
They're
they paid
caught in the
over the
middle
manhole.
in their
We
house.
did not pay over. It's right there. I
So
got
if
a
Rodney
picture of
gets it taken care of
We'll
first
get
thing in
that
the
taken care of.
morning,
You and I will
go to
go
the
over.
office
You
and
Thank
tell
you.
what time, I'll make it work for you. And we'll
Thank
go
you.
over and we'll speak with them and tell them we want them right out there to get the situation straightened
I
out.
really
And they-
appreciate
And they
that.
need to know that you're not ruling out the possibility of going to the county commissioners or the board in Charleston
I'll
and
talk to
say,
them
I mean,
privately.
nobody wants you to get your house with it running.
Yeah,
Sound-
these two wonderful people here don't need to deal with that. We'll deal with that internally.
Right.
But like I said, we'll go over there and talk to them
Mhm.
and tell them that I've got somebody where the little piece is hanging out on, so they can go over and lift the manhole and get the situation
I
correct.
really
carry
appreciate
it
it.
over there and say, here,
Yep.
your darn
And,
manhole.
and,
Yeah.
and Mr. Mayor,
Just
I,
return the manhole cover to them.
what you,
Yep.
what you all have done is why we moved to Berkeley Springs, and I thought maybe my plea would be answered, and it has,
Yeah.
and thank you very
Yeah,
much.
like I said,
We'll get it
if you
done.
want to hang tight here for a few minutes,
Yes,
we'll get a time in the morning that we can go over, and I'll
Yes,
get
sir.
right with you. We'll go over, and we will ask them to come over. And if not, then I'll come back to the office and call a couple of county commissioners and talk to them.
I really
If they
appreciate that.
refuse to come over, and I'll let them know that we're taking care of getting a
Yeah.
little bit of blacktop that's right
Take a
there.
picture of it.
And
Yeah,
I got a
it's done.
picture of it,
No,
and I'll
it's
take a
your
picture
thoughts.
when it's
Okay.
done.
Thank you
I
very
sat
much.
down before I came here and wrote down something to bring to give you, and I left it sitting on my kitchen table. But anyway, it's something that I did years ago. I have like this warranty, and it cost me, it's for sewage and, for sewer and water. Because everything from their lines to your house is pretty, that's yours.
Yeah.
And inside your house is yours. So I do this thing, I think it cost me like $150 a year. And I have this coverage where if I have problems with either sewer or water going to my house from the line, they come in, and I had to do it maybe 10 years ago. Problem with water, first the water department came out and checked, my water flow from them was fine, so it was obviously my end. They had to come in with a that front end loader and dig down there. Thank God that walk behind my house didn't go all the way down, they could just dig it out and go under.
Right.
Check all the pipes, replace everything going into the house. Didn't cost me a penny.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
get you that information if you want it down the road, but we'll take care of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And you do understand that we cannot do our part. We realize we have a part to dig it up and to
Right.
replace the pipe. We can't do it until this is identified,
Right.
the location.
Absolutely. We'll go over there in
And
the
the other
morning.
thing that I'm thinking is the last thing that I had is because mine, when it backed up, I mean, it was backed up pretty grossly. And what they did is they went in with their little snake, and it took us hours and hours, finally got it running, but you could tell it still wasn't running like it should. So they come in with this big water tank, and Roto-Rooter's who I use.
Mhm.
They come in and they will just, they can do it from the manhole cover, or they can do it inside, and what they do is it's just water pressure. And they pump it in, and once they turn it off, the pressure gets released, and it just sucks it all right down, cleans it up. So now mine is running better than it probably has since I've lived here.
We just had an issue on Brook Street, at one of my houses on Brook Street. We had Roto-Rooter come in and they put the snake through, it worked fine, but then a week later it backed up again. So what we had to do was we got one of those balloon things over at Hunter's, and it's small, and you put it in and you run it through the line, and then you blow it up once it's in there, and it pushes. And so,
Right.
It's bigger than the claw.
But if we go over there in the morning
yeah.
and identify that we've got the manhole right there, because it's right, our
Right
house
there.
sits here and
When I
it's
saw
right
where it
here.
was, I was like,
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway, so we'll get together tomorrow and we'll go over there and we'll talk to them. And like I said, if we don't get success, then I will address it with the county commissioner.
I certainly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. All right, second person on the list. I guess they're sitting in the back.
Yeah, Charlie Curia. Mr. Mayor, I'm extremely disappointed with the council in approving street closure for a block party on Fairfax Street on the 5th of May. I would hope that you would ask that whoever's asking for that have buy-in and agreement from all the business owners along that street. We were never informed. Today is the first day that I saw an official announcement. Other than that, Regina came in around March 10th and said she heard a rumor that something was going to happen. But we were never informed. We were never in the loop. And doing that is taking 6 prime business hours out of our business and the parking for our customers on that Friday. We are against it.
Let
I
me,
mean,
let me jump in and say this, because when that was brought up by Travel Berkeley Springs, when they were here at that meeting, and they were talking about this, my first,
That was the chamber.
Chamber,
and I said right off the bat, the one time when we did something like this, the problem was that people were not notified beforehand or a part of this request.
Correct. I heard, I
Point
listened
blank,
to it today.
they were going to make sure that all that stuff happened long beforehand, that everybody was on board.
No.
Didn't
So the
happen.
problem doesn't lie with this council. The problem lies with the chamber.
But
If I
the
remember you
council's
saying
approved
that
to
too.
shut the street down.
Right.
Well,
That's taking
there
all
has-
of our parking.
There has been times where we've allowed to shut the street down. We've done that for years. I mean, I've been here since 2006, and there's been times that we've shut that street down. There's been
We're talking
times that
about
we,
Fairfax.
yeah, we've been doing just half of the street for vendors to sit there, the food
We've
vendors
done
and
a
stuff.
lot.
But I've been here since 2006, and we have on occasions closed that street down or shut one half of the side.
Cruisers, their first Friday thing, but this is through the day.
Yeah,
Starting Friday at noon.
we heard that
Well,
they're
noon.
starting at noon,
And
Yeah.
from noon to
Six
six,
is our
that,
main
we're losing 6 hours of parking.
and business. We found out that even events like, and we're willing to do that during Apple Butter, but I was totally stymied when there were a lot of businesses closed in town during Apple Butter, and I was asking why. Then I found out during Apple Butter. We did better the year before when there was no Apple Butter than we did on Apple Butter weekend this past year. So I did some digging. I went over, I wanted to talk to businesses over in Berkeley County and see what was happening over there, because the chamber and TBS should be promoting the retail business. But I found out that in Berkeley County, out of the 400 and some members that they have in their chamber, one retail outlet is on a member. One. And I found out why, because chambers do not help retail business.
Yeah, like I said,
Does make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make
it does-
sense.
it does
That
make
should be a
sense. I mean,
prime, that should be a prime goal for even Apple Butter, is to be bringing people here to know and patronize Berkeley Springs, not the third-party vendors that they bring in.
Understand, but again, the Apple Butter Festival's been going on for over 50 years.
And that's what I
Yeah, and
said.
we don't have a problem
We don't
with
have
that.
with,
But
But
like I
here's-
said, I mean, when they presented it to us, and I remember you asking about that, and they said, yeah, we're talking.
Because when we did a thing down here on Mercer Street
right,
2 years ago, same kind of thing happened. They came in and were gonna do this. And my first question then was to talk to everybody that's involved with that Mercer Street thing and make sure everybody's on board before you do it. Well, that obviously did not happen. So Friday afternoon comes and they start closing the streets and unloading equipment. And store owners, Black Cat, didn't know a thing about it. So now we couldn't change everything. So now we had to back up and apologize and play nice and make it all worthwhile, but it was the same thing. No involvement and no communication, and just all of a
Exactly.
sudden, nobody can get to your business.
right.
I agree.
I
So
was
what
under
do we
the
do?
Impression it was an evening thing, like.
Well, that's what Regina said originally. She said it's gonna be like from 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 and something like that. Then we got an announcement
They-
But
today
it starts at
They've got
3.
It starts at 3,
12 p.m.
but the road's being closed at 12 noon.
Or you have it.
Right here.
Well, it's-
Yeah,
So it was 12 noon till 10 at night.
But, hold on a sec.
And we're open till 6 o'clock. That's 6 hours that we're losing parking.
Does it say which?
and the second thing is Vince is lining up contractors for us to do work in that beer garden area. They're not gonna be able to pull some trucks in through the alleys. We're gonna have to come in through the front. I don't know if he's got somebody set up to come in that day or not.
Council, let me ask you all a question. Can we get a hold of the chamber and, or maybe, ask them to come, our next meeting will be, see if they can leave a few of those parking spaces around the corner and maybe block off, down just a little bit. I mean, we've already done this. We really can't pull it back a lot, but if we could get maybe a couple of those parking spaces freed up that people could park there. The problem is it's gonna have to go straight through.
Exactly. I don't know how you can do that.
We do one side of the street. like we.
I don't know why they couldn't line the food trucks up on one
Couldn't
side.
they
of the
just
street?
use that side of the street by the
Remember when we
park?
did that big
I was
event in
gonna
the
say,
park with the
leave
ducks and
this side.
stuff?
Right.
We just closed off one side of
Let's,
the street.
let's see, I'll try to go up and talk to them at the chamber tomorrow. See, it was, Happy Road and, let me ask them if they can use the south side of Fairfax Street to line their food trucks up and face them so that they could be on the sidewalk side.
And leave
Okay.
the north side.
And leave the north side open for vehicles to go back and forth. They should be able to pull those food trucks in and they should be able to access them off of, Fairfax Street.
Would
coming
that
from the
alleviate
park.
your problem?
It'll-
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
And then it would also help with Vince's Park with the beer garden thing, if they needed to
Yeah,
get
if
something
we
in
need to
there,
get
there
in
wouldn't
there.
be stuff blocking the
Right.
park.
Let
And maybe
me-
we could ask them to have the vendors' trucks come at the end of the day.
I think they were trying to get
It's a
tourists into
food truck
town.
festival.
Oh,
Right,
that's right.
exactly, and then we
That's
have a
So
safety
right,
issue
right.
with people walking across the street. back
Well,
and
they
forth.
haven't even advertised for it. It's 2 weeks away. How are they going to get people to come to town if they're not
I don't
advertising
know.
for
I
it?
can't answer that.
But it's how it was presented to us.
Yeah.
And we did it in good, in a faith that it would be helpful to the business.
Let me
We're
go
sorry
talk to
that
them
they
and see
don't
if
do
we
that.
can get them to keep half that street open, at least.
They don't
And
have
they,
it on their site. I'm looking at
They-
it.
Yeah, no, today-
Advertising.
Today was the first day I saw it in our chamber newsletter
Weren't they
that they
selling
announced it.
tickets or something? Not for that. Not for them.
no.
All right.
But let me see if I can talk them into possibly doing
And I've seen it
south
last
side,
week and a half
and we'll
on
leave
Facebook.
half that road and cut it off.
Okay.
People walk back and forth on that road all the time.
Yes.
People will just have to be, we'll get a sign put up, caution, event going on or something, to keep half that roadway open so that they can either come around Fairfax or off Mercer, or not Mercer, but Wilk Street.
Wilkes, yeah.
And then, or come off of Washington. Let me tomorrow after I deal with this other problem. The sewer problem's a little bit more important
Yes,
right now. I want them to
definitely.
have
Take
a
care of
rest.
Steve and Lucy.
So
Yeah,
anyway.
we know that. We just
let
had the
me-
sewer lines all replaced in the basement of our building.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they were all plugged and
Don't
some of
forget,
them
there's
look like
parking up Fairfax
paper
Street
thin
on the
Swiss cheese.
Parking meters like that.
Yeah, that's how bad it
Parking in
was.
the
Right.
So we had
parking lot,
that all
gravel
replaced
parking
today.
lot.
Yeah, I might have to
At Liberty's.
maybe
Yeah.
right there,
Well, luckily I got
along Washington Street, because people put
Western
things there all the
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
we'll have them
Been
put
some,
something
so.
that way, coming off of Washington like this. That way they can
John was
access it
Yeah.
like that.
Seemed like
And
it
then
was
you
constant.
block that off, then you're gonna have employees parking.
Well, they'll have to get they'll have to put something there.
They'll only.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Mayor, something I remember from that meeting as well, they made a big deal and I thought it was great, but remember they're running power from that's going across the street, because they were talking about they're not gonna have everybody, all the vendors aren't gonna have their generators on.
Plumbing's
And
what
so
they
they were
do
gonna run
best.
power, some extension cords, so just, that's,
State park.
was it coming from the state?
yeah, they
park?
said they were coming from
Okay.
the state park.
That's not an issue, okay, I thought it was coming
Yeah.
from the other side.
I don't think.
Have
we
it
would.
stay on that south side.
Let me see what I
Okay.
can do. I'll talk to them tomorrow after I'm done there, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
And then you guys are open tomorrow, right?
Yes.
I'll stop
Well,
there.
we'll be
We'll be there.
in there. Yeah. We
Just
just
ring the
had,
bell.
we'll be
It's
cleaning
all right,
up.
I got the phone number. I'll just call.
Yeah,
There you
we'll be
go.
cleaning up. We had all, like I said, we had all our sewer lines in the basement had to be replaced today, so
All right.
we'll be cleaning up.
Okay. All right.
It's a thing.
All right. Anybody else need to come before the council?
I don't know if y'all believe in astrology or not, but the moon just went into feces and it lined up with Uranus. Pulled the shit right out of the sky. And this is, we're all suffering from this.
Okay. All right. Well, I will ask the
Remember that one.
council.
On that note, yeah.
Ready, guys? We're in the German.
Steve, you know this is all recorded, right?
Oh, no.
We're title or
It just went off now.
Oh dear.
Put it down.
Oh, dear.